Hello and welcome back to your South King County Real Estate Update. My name is Sarah Eggleston with Stone Egg Realty at John L. Scott, and I am back to deliver your local real estate news for the month. I'll go ahead and jump right on into these slides. Today is January 12th, 2024. It is a new year, so this is the very first update of the new year. And what do we have in store for you? It is Homebuyer Education Month. The first class has already passed, but I have 3 more that are available for you to learn from. These are all free classes. The one on the 27th, honestly, may have a little bit of a date change. That one is the Washington State Housing Finance Commission first-time homebuyer down payment assistance course. You have to take this course in order to use their specific loan type, which gives you assistance with your down payment. It's a really great program, so if you are interested, please reach out. The other two on the 18th and 20th, these are shorter, much more to the point homebuyer sessions that are they're just really great knowledge. So if there's one in person and one virtual, so sign up for whichever one works for you. And this is a great first step towards the home buying process. Several of the people that I have taught the home buying course to have purchased a home through me shortly after. So if you are curious about purchasing a home, whether it's a possibility and can happen, I highly encourage you to sign up for these classes because this is step 1. And I do have my winter buyer and seller guides available, as well as our 2024 housing forecast. The one I have featured here is for King County, but I do have Pierce, Snohomish as well. If you're curious about what's going to happen in the housing market in your area, just reach out and I'd be happy to send one of these to you. Or if you're thinking about purchasing or selling in the coming year, I'll get one of these guides to you as well. So into that news, Seattle area housing market ends 2023 on a sleepy note. That is definitely true. There was very few sales in December compared to the rest of the year, compared to prior Decembers. It was just a little bit slow, but we kind of expect that in December. Home sales across much of this Puget Sound region continued to decline in December from a year earlier. King County was down 3% on the number of deals, but things are still kind of plugging along. We just don't have a lot of inventory to feed those buyers right now. This article came out last week and the average 30-year was at 6.6 in late December, the lowest since May. Home price activity, we'll take a quick look at that here. King County a year ago was at 825 and now we're at just shy of 850. So pretty good increase in price activity for year over year. Affordability does remain a bit of an issue for some buyers, and that inventory has not arrived yet. Normally in the holiday season, we see a slowdown. I mentioned that before. Listings were down 17% since 2022. So that was quite a drop, more than we would expect to see. Right now, we have a little bit of a lock on our inventory. The lack of move-up buyers, they would be selling their homes to first-time buyers, but with the high rates, they don't want to make that move. They feel like they just want to wait it out. And those first-time homes are not coming available. So we're kind of stalled right now. But as you can see, the number of closed sales did increase on the east side in North King County, down everywhere else. And prices are up everywhere for single family homes other than Seattle. For closed sales for condos, we did see fewer of those, but the prices for those had increased. Look at Seattle, 14% increase in median price from 1 year ago. And what's going to happen with home prices going forward? It's anybody's guess, right? But these are some experts' projections as far as what's going to happen in the coming year. The average of which is homes will increase at about 1.5% in their home value. Fannie Mae's Home Price Expectation Survey polls over 100 housing experts across the industry and academia for forecasts of national home price percentage changes in each of the coming 5-year calendars. So we had pretty good growth last year. These are kind of national numbers, but they're expecting 2.35 growth in 2024. And I think this is a little bit of a conservative estimate. So these are pretty conservative guesses of what's going to happen in the coming years. But if these ones play out true, If somebody purchased a home for $400K now in January 2024, and these home value increases did play true, you would have an extra $72,000 over the course of that 5 years just in the equity gained. So this is a pretty conservative estimate, and the gain of 72,000 kind of outweighs paying that in rent. And that brings us to our Market Stat Minute. For Southwest King County, we had overall month supply of 1.3. So if no new homes came to the market, we'd sell out of homes in about 1.3 months. So there is a shortage of supply. The lowest we're seeing right now is 1 month supply from 350K to 500K. We're in the New Year kickoff, the holiday cycle, winter market cleanup. So we are now about to see more homes come to the market. Prices start to increase. This is what happens every year about this time. For Southeast King County, we had overall 1.1 month supply, but in the 350 to 500K, we have 0.7 month supply, which qualifies as a severe shortage. So we have a really strong or surge market in almost all categories. Over a 1.5 million, there is a little bit more of a buyer's market. We have 2.5 months supply, but anything less than that is less than 2 months supply, and therefore just a strong seller's market. As I said, normally in this time of year, we would expect to see the lowest amount of inventory, and heading forward, have more inventory coming to the market. Here's that new resale listings for Southeast King County. 2023 landed below any of the other prior years listed here, but we were below those lines the whole time. We've come a lot closer to those lines and are lining up much closer to our average cycle. So I would expect 2024, our new listings line a lot closer to the trend here. And for total buyer contracts, this is representing buyer demand. We're even closer to our prior trend lines here. If we had more homes for sale, we would have had more buyer closings. I'm pretty sure of it. These are those two lines overlapped. Orange lines is pended listings, and the green line is listings coming to the market. So if the orange lines are meeting up with the green line, then we are snatching up homes as soon as they come to the market. And in December here, our orange line did surpass that green line. So things are picking up. We're starting to see that increase of activity and hotness of market come to fruition. For our hyper-local breakdown, Kent, Renton, Auburn, and Federal Way, these are new listings coming to the market, and we did see the seasonal decrease in homes here. We see that every year, as you can see in these past trend lines. Really, from January on, we expect to see an increase in home values starting in next month. So prediction is that these lines will all start to bounce back. Pending home sales, same thing. We're way below the amount of pending home sales that we had in prior years. And that's just due to the lack of inventory here. And we expect this to tick back up as we head further into the spring. Median days on market, we have kind of skyrocketed here from last month, but there's not as many home sales in December as any other point in the year. People don't want to move during the holidays. It's cold, it's rainy. So we should expect this to start ticking down in the next month or two as we head forward towards the spring. And sales price, we are not too far different than last month. Auburn did tick up. The rest of the areas did tick down. But all four areas are up between 1.5% and 16% from where they were 1 year ago. Last time we met at the end of December, the 30-year fixed daily rate was 6.67 and the monthly average was 6.61. And if we look at today's weekly average, it is 6.66. Isn't that fun? So mortgage rates have not really moved that much since mid-December. They had this really strong decrease in mid-December and have remained pretty steady since then, ticks up and down throughout that time. But overall, we expect the mortgage rates to decline further throughout the rest of this year. This article says generally seeing it move no lower than 6%. But Dean Baker, senior economist at the Center for Economic Research, says it also appears that mortgage rates are now falling again. They will almost certainly not fall to pandemic lows, those 2%, 3%. We're not expecting those again. Although we may see rates under 6%, which would be low by pre-Great Recession standards. So before the Great Recession in 2008, 6% would have been a good rate. We had really low rates for the last 20 years or so. 6% is, if you look at a really long historical period, is not that bad of a rate. And I think once we see that 5 is the first number, even if it's 5.99, that's going to click in people's brains of like, oh, we can move again. So once they see the 5 as the first number, I think that there'll be an increase in activity in the market that will be a little bit more of a frenzy. And if we bring it to today's interest rate, it's 6.69, which is down a little bit from yesterday. So we did have ticked up from the beginning of the year and then have just ticked down in the last week or so. This is from last October till now. The orange line is our weekly average and the blue line is our daily. So our daily did tick up over 8 in October, but we have been on a pretty steady downward decline ever since then. We had that big drop in December and gradually tick up, and now we're coming back down again. So we'll see a little bit more of this kind of fall, tick up throughout the year. Overall, most economists are thinking that rates will go down throughout the year. And so the lock-in rates, people refinanced when rates were lower. And so a lot of people who either purchased or refinanced during that time have these really, really low mortgage rates that they don't want to let go of. If they have below a 3%, they're not really thinking about selling. If they have 3 to 4%, they're probably not selling. If they're 4 to 5%, they must think before selling, so they maybe, but there's really not very many people that have a rate over 5%. So anybody who's in these categories here is much more likely to move than the 3 to 4%. But we might be at a peak lock-in effect. Some move up or lifestyle sellers might be coming to terms with the fact that 3 and 4% mortgage rates aren't returning anytime soon. If the lock-in effect eases up further in 2024, it could help boost existing home sales from the very low levels we experienced at the end of 2023. Here's another quote from the National Association of Home Builders. The market currently requires a higher level of new construction inventory due to a persistent lack of resale inventory. Newly built homes available for sale accounted for 31% of the total homes available for sale in November, compared to an approximate 12% historical average. So on a historical average, we have about 12% of the homes being new construction homes that are for sale. In November, it was 31% of the homes for sale were new construction. We've been historically underbuilt for while now, many, many years. We have had way too few homes constructed, and now we're starting to see them catch up a little bit. So if you're thinking about making a move, new construction may be something to consider because there's just a little bit more of that as an option than there normally is. And a lot of builders are willing to make some deals on getting people landed in these new construction homes. So that pretty much wraps it up. Just want to give a quick reminder about the Homebuyer Education Month. I put so much work into these classes. I'm so excited to teach this information. So make sure to sign up if you're thinking about possibly buying a home in the next year or two. This is step A. Those winter buyer and seller guides, if you are thinking about buying a home soon or selling a home soon, these are fantastic information, or your 2024 housing forecast for whatever county you are interested in. Just let me know that you need those and I will send them your way. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My phone number and email address are on the screen there. I would love to have a conversation with you about the market in your area or an area you're interested in. Answer any of these national questions or mortgage rate questions. Happy to help. Thank you so much for joining me for your South King County real estate update. I will be back in February for your January recap and February news. Have a fantastic month and see you then.